Hello and welcome back to the Ain't Dead Yet podcast. Today's episode is brought to you by our official sponsor, Sun Life Organics. Love, heal, and inspire. Sun Life Organics is a juice bar that has locations all across the United States, providing only the highest quality organic ingredients. I love it. Personally, I go just about every day. My favorite smoothie is the Holy Cow. It's packed with 50 grams of protein, and it always helps me recover. Go find one near you. Another official sponsor of today's podcast is Noble Origins. Noble is a grass-fed beef protein complex, utilizing everything in the cow from nose to tail. It's personally my favorite protein. I like the vanilla the best. I like to mix it with raw milk. That is my favorite combination, but the chocolate is also amazing. I also had mentioned with additional sponsor, Sun Life Organics, that they have a shake smoothie called the Holy Cow. They also utilize Noble protein in order to hit that 50 grams in that shake. So again, go order it. Check them out, nobleorigins.com. Use code ADY for 15% off. Love y'all.
Hello and welcome back to the Ain't Dead Yet podcast. Today we have a very special episode because it's not just an Ain't Dead Yet podcast. It's actually our first collab ever, and we're doing it with Meat Mafia, Mr. Brett Ender.
Yes.
We're excited for this one. We haven't sat down in a while.
We haven't. And I've been on ADY 3 times.
Yeah.
And then you've been on Mafia twice, or once. But I wasn't there. Harry co-hosted it. So we felt like there's just been a lot of awesome things that have happened this summer, a lot of change, a lot of transformation. Just felt like it made sense to do a collab episode to cross-pollinate our audiences, and I think it'll be a really good, just organic rip and conversation.
Yeah, I was thinking back just on the drive up here this morning. So one of the best episodes, or one of my favorite episodes ever, was the one we did towards the end of last summer. So it was like August, September, and we were going over the 30-day challenge, and we were talking about the impacts of that and like what we were kind of doing. And I think a lot of people tagged into that because they saw the change.
Yes.
So it's been a year since then.
That's unbelievable. Yeah. I think about that a lot because I have a lot of the old content pieces of just like some of the workouts that I was doing and things like that. And I just remember just the feeling of purity of just like really locking in on something and just seeing the changes in the mirror, and then also like watching those changes kind of like permeate out into the other aspects of my life too. And I feel like you've almost taken it to another level the last few months with what you've been doing, and I feel like the timing of this is perfect with like the September to December lock-in that everyone's talking about as well. It's just such a great opportunity to close the year out strong, and if your year's not going great, you can totally just course correct and make it just a phenomenal year. Yeah,
I mean, the reality of it is if you go hard for 3-4 months and you hit that 25 to 33% efficiency, throughout the course of the year, you can change everything.
Yeah.
Like you don't need to be perfect every day. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying you should mess off for 9 months a year, but I think that you can make such drastic change in 3 months. There's no reason not to lock in this time of year. Mm-hmm. There's no real reason to be outside that much, right? It's gonna cool off.
Yeah.
People are gonna be sitting at home eating cake, chili, watching football. It's actually a great time to get ahead. So
definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like the word transformation is like a pretty defining word for your life. Just knowing you as like just such a close friend and a brother. And what I'm going to do for the Meat Mafia episode is I'm going to link to the first episode of ADY where I kind of interviewed you.
Oh, yeah.
Because you have this phenomenal story. And it's really not condensable. Like we ripped for 2 hours straight. But if it's possible, I would love for our listener to just kind of understand where you were at around like 30 years old and then where you're at now at 35, because you post that transformation photo 2 weeks ago. And even for me, man, someone that's seen a lot of your old photos and has like heard all the different stories about what you were doing, but just seeing where you were at to where you are now, it was literally like staring at 2 different men. And I think that's just I just think I'm so encouraged by that. I think a lot of other people would be too.
Yeah, I think, and you and I have talked about this a lot. It's literally what's possible with God, even if you're battling him, right? And I say it that way intentionally because my relationship with God hasn't been one of perfection. It's actually been one of imperfection. But I think as long as you go back and you continue to circle back to your relationship with your faith, stay diligent in the things that really matter, your entire life will look completely different in 5 years. Mm-hmm. I mean, 5 years is one thing. It'll look completely different in 1 year, in 2 years, and 3 years. So for the purpose of your listener, high level, So July 19th, 2020, I was a full-blown alcoholic, drug addict, was addicted to Coke. That was my drug of choice. It was like a codependent relationship between alcohol and cocaine. So anytime I drank, I needed Coke, and I couldn't do Coke without drinking. Just emotional low all time, like depression, anxiety, all of it. I couldn't do drugs Monday through Thursday, so I ate, and that's where the 312 pounds came from. People were thoroughly impressed that there was a cokehead that weighed 312 pounds. They're like, dude, that's impressive. Like,
Doesn't really exist, right?
Right. Balance, you know what I mean? I hate that word. So that was kind of the picture. I think that I was chasing things that were strictly worldly at that time, AKA dopamine, like artificial dopamine hits. I felt so bad about myself. I couldn't sit with myself without some form of substance or food, or I needed like constant stimulation. If I didn't have that, I had to go pursue it. And I think that it finally broke for me. It took a long time. I was on that road. I would say I didn't get 30 days of sobriety from the time I was 13 until I was 30.
Wow.
So when you start to break that down and think about it, you're like, man, I didn't go a month without substance for 17 years. I've never been an adult sober for 30 days. And that's terrifying for a lot of people, because you realize, like, okay, if I cut these things out, who am I? What am I? I think that if you stare at it in that lens, it's terrifying. But if you look at it from the lens of, like, if you have a whiteboard and you wipe the whole thing completely clean, that's really what it is. It's like you have a brand new opportunity to course correct. And the other thing people need to realize, what's average life expectancy right now in the U.S. for men?
It's like, what is it, 75-ish?
Okay,
if
so
that.
Let's call 37 midlife. That's crazy. I'm 35. That means if I live to be average, which I think I'll either die like way before that or way after that. It won't be right on it.
Yeah.
That means I'm halfway done. You have to look in the mirror and ask yourself, do you want, like, is that like your first half of your life? Is that what you want to be replicated in the second half? And for me, the answer was absolutely not. Fortunately, I got there at 30 years old. I'm grateful for that. I used to regret that I didn't get there sooner, but I'm actually grateful it happened exactly when it did.
Yeah.
And the things that you learn about yourself and about the world and about everything, once you strip yourself of all these substances, it's life-changing, right? You think each month you've got it figured out.
Yeah.
And then something new happens and something new happens. So I can just, like for your audience's purposes, and like you said, we'll link episode 1. I wanted to die. Like that if I could encapsulate it all into one sentence, like I wanted to die. I didn't want to be here anymore, at all. And it's just funny what God can do. And I found myself through multiple avenues, and I continue to find myself. Might be physical fitness, endurance challenges, therapy, time in church, time in community, time in service, podcasting, heartbreak, losing my dad. Like the world doesn't stop, right? So it's all about like what you're doing in order to get yourself to a place where you can effectively deal with what the world's going to throw.
Definitely.
So yeah, I think that makes sense.
I think that's the perfect Cliff Notes version of your story, which is very tough to do. But even it's been cool for me to just see the change that you've stacked in about we've known each other for about 2 years. I think you were 33 when we met, and we met at this like church bonfire or like dinner party, and you were by yourself at the bonfire. I had seen you get baptized 2 weeks before, and I just remember thinking, like, there's just something about this guy. I just need to know. He's got a story. I just want to know what it is, and I want to build a friendship with him. And so we ripped for like 3 hours straight. So I've seen you start your podcast. I've helped crew you for 200-mile races that we've done. You kind of put the ultra endurance chapter of your life to bed after doing the Rocky, which was a goal that you've had for multiple years. And so I've seen you start the podcast, do the endurance races, seen you kind of revitalize the construction business. And I've also seen you get in the best shape of your life too. So I think that's what's really cool, is probably thinking back to 30, these things, like at that time, you were literally just trying to stop doing cocaine and alcohol. And now it's like you're just stacking these challenges up in a really short period of time. But it took the 5 years to get to this point. But even like the last 3 months, there's been massive changes in the direction of your life too. So that's what I think is cool, is like the compounding interest that just starts with these very small steps and just continuing to prune and stay committed to it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 100%. It's rooted in what are you going to do today? Actually, I was talking to Nolan yesterday on the phone. We had a great conversation. Shout out Nolan.
He's the GOAT.
Yeah. Well,
he's the chosen one. That's my new nickname for him.
Yeah. Unbelievable guy. Incredibly handsome. He's going to get so mad. I say that every opportunity I get. But I was having a conversation with him, and I've started to think of my life as a graph, just like your basic graph. You have an x-axis, a y-axis, and you're a dot, right? And it doesn't matter. Like if you're just starting, it doesn't matter where you were at yesterday. Mm-hmm. You're just a dot. You have the choice of where that dot moves, right? Do you want to go backwards? Do you want to go down? Do you want to go up? You want to go up and to the right? Do you want to go just flat right? Like, what do you want to do? Every decision you make impacts that dot. And so I've started thinking of my life day to day like that. Mm-hmm. Like, is this decision impacting my dot in a positive way? And if it doesn't, I struggle to say yes to it now.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I'm perfect in that. I still say yes to shit all the time that doesn't necessarily benefit me. You probably know that better than anyone.
Yeah.
I'm super guilty of that. But I try to outweigh that, at least. Like, I might make bad decisions, but I try to outweigh that with good decisions. Mm-hmm. And I'm aware of my imperfections, but I think that's really what it is. It's the compounding interest statement is profound when you talk about finances, obviously, but it's profound when you talk about life. Mm-hmm. So many people get, 3 months from now, 90 days from now, and they look back and they're like, damn, how did I get in this horrible position? Well, it started 3 months ago. That's how. It wasn't yesterday. It wasn't the day before yesterday. It was literally 3 months ago. It's when you had that conversation in your head with yourself of like, where do I want to be in 3 months?
Yeah.
And then you get there and you're not there. You can, like, everything, hindsight's obviously 20/20, but you can look back and connect all those dots and tell exactly that you on that path that you were never going to get there based on decisions made. So I think that for me, that's what it's become. It's like, do the right thing today, or do as many right things today as you possibly can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even if it's like having, whether it's like internal dialogue with yourself or putting pen to paper as you go throughout the course of your day, and just like honestly asking yourself, is this behavior that I'm choosing to indulge in, is it going to serve me or is it going to set me back? And like you said, it's like these things start as such small little seeds or habits, or they snowball. And I think a good personal example of that is I got married at the end of June. I'm in a phase right now with the business.
Shout out Dana.
Shout out Dana. Another GOAT.
Queen.
Incredible. But it's just, I'm just continually humbled with myself, just like some of the inherent laziness that I have, that I constantly have to fight against. And so what I'm noticing for myself is, like, Dana just moved to Austin, so she's in a brand new city, making friends, restarting her business. I have this very established thing because I've been here for about 3 years naturally. And because right now we're at this massive inflection point with Noble, I'm putting more energy and intensity into that. And there are a lot of times where I'll come home, 7:30, 8 o'clock at night, I have dinner, and then the immediate thing that I want to do is literally just like sprawl out on the couch and like throw on The Sopranos or something like that and veg out. And so the reason why I'm saying that is I was thinking to myself yesterday, I think we were talking about it in the car, what does that compound to with my marriage over 6 months of doing that, not giving her my best version of myself, not helping her clean up the kitchen or really engage with her and ask her about the day. And so it's not that it's been a huge issue. It's more so just something that I've noticed with myself. So how do I make those tweaks throughout the course of my day so I can do what I need to do in the office, and then when I'm home, I'm fully present and giving my wife, who's the most important person in my life, the best version of myself too. And so there's so many different stories and different habits and things over the course of my life that are somewhat similar to that. And where I've always fallen off the rails is just when I let those things fester for too long versus just like cutting the cord. And that's something that you've done a lot for me as a friend, because I just continually seeing you prune things that aren't serving you. And then obviously you make mistakes because you're a man, and then you just continue to prune those things too, but you're just continuing to compound in the right direction over time.
Yeah, I think you having the awareness is the first important piece, though. Mm-hmm. Like, most men would never sit there and admit what you just admitted. Mm-hmm. Like, yeah, I'm working my ass off, but I'm not the best husband when I come home every day.
Yeah.
That's a hard thing to say out loud. Mm-hmm. But it's real shit, And I think having that awareness is important. And obviously the next step is like what you do with that.
Yeah.
the way that I think about it, specifically when it comes to Dana, and I know you don't mind me speaking on Dana.
Yeah.
Incredibly special person, right? Like very rare human,
Mm-hmm.
very rare female, especially.
Yes.
And I think that well, A, that's why you married her,
Mm-hmm.
but B, she compounds your life,
Mm-hmm.
right? And you know that.
Yeah.
We've spoken about that many times and how much value she brings to your life. And I think that when you look back, you know, if you think about it, like play the tape forward 6 months from now, and you're like, all right, if I go home every night and watch I love how you say Sopranos.
It's the best.
I say Sopranos because I'm a redneck, I guess. But you go home, you watch the Sopranos, and you veg out, right? 6 months from now, what does that look like specifically?
Yeah.
Right? You have to be able to visualize that. And if it takes time, it takes time. But sit down and really think about, like, what does that look like?
Mm-hmm.
And then wipe the board and say, okay, the next 6 months, I'm not coming home and watching Sopranos unless Dana says she wants to watch The Sopranos. But I'm going to come home. I'm going to reset myself in the driveway. I'm going to walk in. I'm going to give my wife a hug and a kiss. I'm going to help her with dinner. I'm going to help her clean up.
Mm.
We're going to sit there. We're going to do whatever she wants to do. That's her time.
Yep.
What does that look like in 6 months? You have to be able to visualize that.
Definitely.
And then make the decision. The decision's easy once you play the tape forward.
Mm-hmm.
Where we get caught up as humans is we say, oh, this decision tonight isn't going to impact it that much, right? People get stuck in that. It's like, oh, if I eat the cake today, right, it's not that big of a deal. What happens if you make that decision every single day?
Yeah.
You get fat, right? That's what happens. So if you make the decision every single day, and this is where the whole balance argument comes in, and I'm not the one to talk to about that. If you eat your meal prep every day, what does that look like in 6 months?
Mm-hmm.
Do I regret not having the cake?
Yeah.
Fuck no. I don't care about the cake because of what the meal prep gave me.
Yes.
Same thing with your wife. Same thing with reading the Bible. Same thing with doing your business, handling your work. One day does matter. And I think as a society, we've gotten to a point where it's like, it's okay to have a really off day.
Yes.
I don't agree with that. I think as a man, specifically, I can't speak for females, but as a man, it's so important for us to move in the right direction daily. Not minute by minute, but daily,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like have a win for that day.
Definitely.
I think it impacts us much, much greater than, we even know when we start falling off. And we've been in each other's lives long enough now to see, we've seen each other go backward.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard to watch.
Yeah.
And honestly, when you care about somebody, it really pisses you off.
Mm-hmm.
And, I'm working on my F-bombs, but you want to sit there and be like, what the freak?
Yeah.
What are you doing? But I've been there too, where it's like, you've seen it and you're like, come on, dude. Like this is on you. Like you're putting
Definitely.
yourself in this position.
Mm-hmm.
You got to own it. And I think that that's so important to have that kind of friendship. I have very few, you talk about pruning. I can't think of anything that's more important. You think about like from a vegetation standpoint, right? Like a tree, in order for it to become its greatest, biggest, most beautiful self, you have to prune it
Definitely.
constantly. We have to do the same thing as men. If something's not serving the greater good, you got to clip it.
Mm-hmm.
And it sucks sometimes because that means cutting live branches.
Yes.
Or cutting too far down. You make a mistake, right? But that's okay. And I think that that's so important because if you let those things stay, especially the dead branches,
Mm-hmm.
it steals life from everything else.
Yes.
So for me, that's been a big thing over the last 5 years is learning how to, one, say no. You've helped me a lot with that. And I know I've helped you a lot with that.
I'm working on it, brother.
Because we balance each other. You'd be like, am I being a dick? Am I being a jerk? Am I being an asshole? Is this okay? Like, it's hard because when you're compassionate or you have empathy, it's really difficult to say no. It's really difficult to cut things off. And we want to hold on to things because the egotistical side of both of us and probably like a sliver of narcissism, we both think we can fix everything.
But you can't.
You can't, right? And learning that has been important.
Mm-hmm.
And the things you can't fix, you got to let go. So I think that that's been big for me too, but yeah.
It's almost like you can't do everything, but I firmly believe that if you can make this like master list of what your priorities are, maybe it's, spiritual practice, relationship with God, relationship with your wife, business, close friendships in that descending order, if those are your 4 buckets, I believe that you can do all of those well. And obviously, like, 1 or 2 might stick out a little bit more depending on the season of life that you're in. But for myself, what I've just accepted, particularly the last couple of weeks, is like, I could do all of those things well. I just, give too much time to friends or relationships that aren't really self-serving, or, hey, I go into the office, I work on things that are more noise than signal that are going to move the business forward. Like, it's really just like a reshuffling of the cards, which I think is very encouraging. And a lot of times intuitively, like, I know deep down, hey, this thing's not going to get me to where I want to go, but it feels good in the moment versus like just hugging the cactus with that really tough thing. And that's been refreshing for me, is like the last couple of weeks from a business standpoint, it's just been a lot of hugging the cactus. And so it's been very painful, but I'm already seeing like some of the fruits of those efforts too.
Right. Yeah, I think a lot about, and I don't count pockets or like count people's inventory in their life. But when I think about you, because we are so close, I'm like, okay, what are the 3 things Brett, like really 3, that if Brett locks in on, Brett's life is incredible?
Yes.
It's your spiritual health.
Mm-hmm.
It's the relationship with your wife, and it's your business, right? And I can say that, and it doesn't mean family's not important. It doesn't mean friends aren't important. But if you master those 3 things, and you pour everything you have into those 3 things, everything on the next layer of the atmosphere, so to speak, like family and friends, it takes care of itself. Because the people that really care about you want to see you operate at your best.
Definitely.
That looks like Brett having a good relationship in his faith, Brett having a good relationship with his wife,
mm-hmm.
and Brett's business being successful. I don't need anything else from you. That's what I want,
mm-hmm.
right? If you spend all day talking to me and rubbing my feet, making me feel better about myself, and those 3 things collapse, it's worthless.
Definitely.
You know what I mean? So I think that that's important too, is like, you're so right, finding what those important, like, critical components are. And I had a girl I dated a long time ago explained it to me. She was one of those like astrology type, had the big thing over her bed, whatever those things are called. Like, it was like a big,
those tapestry things.
Yeah,
oh, dude,
one of those, dude.
You were in the wilderness, bro.
Yeah, I was out there. I was out there in the jungle. Good time. But either way, from her, she compared like her life to a solar system, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, if you're at the center of it, and it sounds egotistical, but it's true, you are at the center of your own life. All the planets and everything around you, right? That's kind of your level of commitment.
Mm-hmm.
Where they're at, and the further away, the less commitment. But everything is impacted based on that centerpiece. And so I really believe that. And I think that those are the 3 things for you. I think everything else finds success around those 3 things for you.
Definitely.
So, yeah, it's cool to see you kind of step into that. I've been excited. So this time last year, you weren't engaged yet.
I was not.
Yeah. But I've been excited for this whole process to unfold.
Mm-hmm.
Just because I knew wholeheartedly that it was only going to force you to level up. Like, you had no other choice.
Definitely.
Especially, I respected how you guys kind of managed your relationship, and that, like, you guys could have moved in together a lot sooner.
Mm-hmm.
Like, she could have came down here. You
Yep.
could,
kind of gone back to Jersey, whatever.
You had those options. It wasn't
Yes.
like that was impossible.
Mm-hmm.
But you chose not to. And you chose to wait till marriage to move in together and then build from there. So I knew once she got into the home, like, it was going to level you up. You had no
Yes.
choice. So it's been cool to watch that.
Thanks, man. Yeah, there's just a difference coming home and seeing your wife's face. It's like the immediate gut check where it's like, am I doing everything in my power to help give this woman like the life of her dreams and the life that she ultimately deserves too? Like, am I really executing on that? And I think a lot of times as men, I almost would equate it to like in high school or college, you wait till like the last minute to write a paper, and then you like pull some gold out of your ass and get like an A on the paper or something like that. Like the inner genius that's in there, but you kind of wait till that last moment. And I think we're like that with a lot of different buckets as men. And I think the goal is like, can you course correct and do that before you're at like code red almost? Yeah. But I think having just an incredible woman and a wife or a partner, it is like the ultimate form of accountability, because I ask myself that every single day.
Yeah, to me, I have a new theory on why men cheat. And I think it's because they can't look their wife and their kids in the eyes.
Mm.
It's an easy way out, right? Because they know they're not doing what they need to do.
Mm.
And so the easy way out's just to self-sabotage and screw it up.
Yes.
Right? And I think that's a big problem in society. You see a lot of split partnerships, marriages, relationships, and I think it's really rooted in accountability or lack thereof. And people not feeling comfortable in their relationship saying like, hey, you're dropping the ball. Like you ain't cutting it. And I think that that's why it's so important. We've shared this podcast clip back and forth at least, I don't know, 3 or 4 times, but the guy's talking about like the most important investment you'll ever make in your life is your partner.
Mm-hmm.
There's no greater investment.
Yes.
And it's so critical that it's the right person for you. And so, again, I've seen a lot of people get married. I've seen a lot of people get connected. I've been privy to a lot of that. And I can truthfully say, like, I can't think of one relationship that has more opportunity for growth and for success than the one that you guys share.
Wow.
Yeah.
Really appreciate you saying that, man. I think a lot about, I remember I'm like Nolan, where we just keep regurgitating David Senra and Founders podcast, because I think it's the best podcast ever.
Yeah.
His stance is, as a founder, either like ride or die, best woman in the world, or just stay single if you want to actually build something entrepreneurial. I know you relate to that too.
Yeah, and that's where I'm at in my life. It's all or nothing. Like, it's got to be the one or it's nothing.
Yes.
And I think a lot of that has to do with your internal dialogue and mindset too.
Mm-hmm.
I had this conversation with Nolan as well, very similar. But I was like, I don't want to be that guy. I want to be the guy.
Yeah.
And I can either do that alone in the dark, or I can do it with the woman, not that woman, right? And so I think that that's so important to get to that place. And people be like, oh, that's cocky, that's arrogant, that's it. Check the receipts.
Yeah.
Like, I don't need to argue with anyone. Just go look, watch, pay attention. You know what I mean? And I think that evidence, that's something that we could get better at as a society. Like, you have to look at people's lives in timelines almost. I wouldn't expect a high-value woman a month into sobriety. I hadn't proven shit, man. Lost 15 pounds, right? I could run maybe 2 miles.
Yeah.
I hadn't built a business yet. I was still a slave to a corporation. My faith was rocky at best. Like, there was all these things, right? But now it's been 5 years and 2 months. Now you got some receipts. So, like, there is no settling.
Yeah.
If you're not it, you're not it. And I think it took me a long time to actually check my own receipts, right? And I think that's a difficult thing for men, is like, believe what you've done. You know, not necessarily what people tell you are or aren't. Look at your own receipts. Believe what you've done. And if you haven't done enough, you haven't done enough. And so for me, that's been a big thing, especially over the last probably 4 to 6 months, is like, I look back and I'm like, okay, you've done some really cool shit. You've done some great things. But this is like just the surface.
Definitely.
Like, I didn't sign up just to do surface. God didn't save my life just to do surface. There's a depth there that needs to be reached. And I think it's important as men, though, that like you're able to look back long term and say, like, I've been building since this date. That's why the dot's so important. Before that date, the dot didn't go anywhere. Actually, it went backwards. You know what I mean? On the graph, so to speak. So I think all those things are important to look at, but the concept of doing it alone or with like the ride or die, I completely agree. And I think Hermazi says the same thing. He talks about his wife Layla all the time.
Definitely.
Alex. And he's like, dude, I went from X dollars to like 10X dollars.
Yes.
The first year. And I've lived that. I've specifically lived that, not necessarily for my own pockets, but for someone else's pockets, where I've seen their life go like this. And the only thing that changes is like who's in their life, and then it goes like this, right? Male, female, doesn't matter. And I've also had those impacts on my life. So it's like it's so important who's around you. And you have to be willing to set your ego down too. I think that's important when it comes to the right woman. To be like, okay, this woman's ride or die, like she's the one. I need to be able to set my own ego down enough to let her in, create space for her to come in. And like, I will hammer down full speed, full throttle the ship. But like when she tells me to like turn starboard or turn port, like I need to listen to that.
Definitely.
Because a good woman has that vision. They have that intuition. And I think that's why God puts them in a man's life, especially if you're hammered down. It's like they're able to look ahead where we're like, I'm here. Like I'm going full speed right here.
Mm-hmm.
She's like out there.
Definitely.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I think too, the one thing I can confidently say, being married for a few months, and we've had some phone calls about this, I firmly believe that, especially up until the point that you get up to the altar and put the ring on each other's finger and become husband and wife in one flesh, it should be just so easy and constant green flags where it's literally just you being like, do I want to spend the rest of my life with this person? 100% yes. And it's just like I felt that decision really early with Dana, and there was never any delineation. There was, I recognized some aspects of just like maybe self-sabotage with myself, because deep down when I was younger, when I was like 28, 29, I didn't feel worthy at the time. I didn't understand why God had given me that gift, but that was something internally for me to work through. But there, with our relationship itself and her, it was just green flag after green flag. And I feel like that's something really important, because I see, and you see this too, like all these couples they're just like, there's just constant fighting and constant bickering and delineation. And I know guys are like, hey, we're either gonna move in together and it's gonna work, and get married, or we're just gonna break up. And I'm like, I don't know, man. I just think that in your gut, it should be green flags. And if there's stuff you need to work through, yes, there's stuff you need to work through, but the relationship itself and how she shows up for you and the way she makes you feel, it should be so easy leading up to that point.
I agree. I completely agree. But I think you have to experience both sides of that coin to get
100%, dude.
And, again, I attribute, like on my path at least, the one thing that I know that I'm infant in, right? Like infant being like pre-toddler, is learning how to operate within a relationship in sobriety.
Mm-hmm.
And like what I've found is, I think that it's so important when you're in a partnership or relationship, manage yourself first, right? Manage your own life. Make sure you're doing the right things at all times. But it's okay to look at your partner and say, like, are they also doing that?
Yeah.
And if they're not, you got to have a conversation. If it doesn't change, you got to get out. It's that simple. It shouldn't be this thing of turmoil, like you said, where you're like constantly battling to pull someone forward, or, and this goes for men and women, right? You see it a lot more. Honestly, you see it more on the female side. You see females try to pull men who are substandard up to a level that's good enough,
mm-hmm.
right? I think you see it more actually on that side than you do the other side. So I would say, to your point, like, find someone who's just growing with you,
mm-hmm.
right? And I think that does exist.
Definitely.
I've seen it. You know what I mean? But to get there, what it takes, and I think God challenges everyone in this way, is like the ability to say no to what isn't that.
Yes.
Right? And to walk away from what isn't that. And so, yeah, I completely agree. I think that's such a valid point.
Well, something I've seen with you too, I think it applies to your relationships. I also think it just applies to your life in general. I think that part of the reason why you've been able to do all these things in a short period of time is, I think you have this like controlling nature to what you do, where it's like, hey, if I like exert this force and press this button, I can pop out what I want on the other side of it. There's so much beauty in that. But what I've noticed is that I just see more of this like blanket trust for God's plan over your life. I feel like you're kind of just like, you're doing more than I've ever seen you, but I also just see you kind of being like, Lord, it's your, like, whatever you want, I trust you. Would you say that's true? That's my friend perspective on you. I just see this spirit, like just this trust.
I think, yeah. Well, let's run it back real quick. So, and you know this, the audience or the viewer doesn't, but call it 5-6 months ago, I had this point of reflection where it was like, why did you start this whole journey? And it was that conversation in the mirror with God where I gave him my word. I'll give you everything, but I'm going to press to the max. I don't need to tell you I'm the hardest worker in the room. Like, for what? Like, and people, the social media piece, I go off the rails there sometimes. I'll fully admit it. Because people will say like, oh, do you even have a job? Do you even work? And I'm like, fine, I'll give you the hour by hour if you really want to see it. And then people get annoyed with that because they're like, are you just rubbing it in our face? And I'm like, no, like, this is what it looks like. But it's because I do trust God, and I know if I'm doing the right things, he's going to unfold what needs to be presented.
Totally.
And I think that for me, that's been so huge. And it's like, you talk about the controlling aspect of it. The only thing that I try to control is how hard I push. Because I know until the right woman comes in my life, God's going to be the one that steers the ship. My job is to be hammered down.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to be the one to say, turn starboard. Or like, he's going to kill the engines. You know what I mean? He's like, you need to stop. But he handles that. I believe that wholeheartedly, and I'm at peace with it. And he's done it a few times in the last 6 months where he's like, nope, like, shut it down. Shut it down. And you have to listen in that moment. And there's been times where I don't, and I press harder. And then he just makes it clear.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, I think that is what faith is. Like, I have this belief that the greatest part of my life hasn't occurred yet. I really believe that. But I also know the only way to get there is to continue to grow.
Definitely.
Like, where I'm at right now is great. It's fantastic. And I could probably settle for a lot of things. But it's not where I'm supposed to be yet.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm at peace with that. And people say, like, well, when is it good enough? When will you be there? And I was like, I don't know. God will tell me. It'll be that moment. And like, I've had a few of them in my life. And when it hits, it hits. It's like, here you go.
Yeah.
And until I get there, I'm on this path.
Mm-hmm.
And then the path will shift and the growth doesn't stop there. It probably goes even harder. And so I feel like everything in my life, especially the last 5 years, has been preparation for tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
What's coming tomorrow? Kerrville's the same thing. Nolan and I have had this conversation. Everything in my life led to Kerrville. Like, what happened there and the person that I was there was specifically because of all the trials and tribulations and experiences and blessings that God had given me. Like, it all created that. And I think that Kerrville really shifted a big part of me in that way. It was like, God's got this, man. He's got all of it.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean you don't have down days or you question, like, why. It just means you keep going, right?
I was going to ask you if that was, my sense was that the entire month in Kerrville was an inflection point. Obviously it was, but I remember when you had posted that you basically just, like, after the floods had happened in Texas, you took your chainsaw, you took your boots, you took your truck, you just drove and just were trying to see how you could help. And you ended up staying for a month. And you and Nolan have done multiple podcast episodes about this that for Mafia I'll link to in the show notes, but you were leading so much of the recovery and the reconstruction efforts out there and the damage control. But I remember seeing that story because this was pretty recently after I had gotten married, and we were just in a patch where we weren't talking that much, not for any reason in particular, but it's like, that's just how some friendships go. And I remember when you started posting about that, I was like, that's where Trip needs to be, because anyone that really knows you, you're the most natural version of yourself when you're serving other people, whether it's like, seeing a homeless guy outside of the grocery store and just buying him a couple tall boys and just talking to him for 30 minutes and just giving him that time, or finding a way to donate all this money to charity. And I thought that Kerrville was just like, it's just such a good way to, like, remind yourself that you're not that important, and it just feels good to serve other people. And I feel like that's the version of you that I'm seeing now is on the back of the work that you guys did for that month. Like, that's where you're meant to be.
Yeah, I agree. I think God placed me that and this is hard to talk about just because, like, I hate what happened there. I don't use hate often, but, like, I hate what happened there. Especially with the children, families, all those impacts. In that same breath, I can't think of anywhere else that I could be, right, or should have been. I think it's what I needed, especially at that point. Because down there is no ego. There's nothing. It's just like everyone's asking the same question. How can I help? What can I do? What do you need from me? It's not like no one's complaining. No one's moaning. No one's like, there's no space for it.
Yeah.
No one wants to hear it. And I could believe me, if somebody would have started that whole road or that whole route, like, they'd have got hammered. So it just didn't exist. And I think that it was just such a great place to be around good people. It also, it opened my eyes to who I can trust, right? Like, who actually cares about people. And I think that shifted a lot of things within me. I heard from people I hadn't heard from in 20 years. They're like, dude, this is wholesome. Like, let me know what I can do to help, or men and women, right? Like people from my past, people, like I said, I haven't talked to in 2 decades, were reaching out because they wanted to help, right? And I think that that really opened my eyes to like what kind of person I want around my life. A lot of people can talk like, I got messages, of course, like, oh, if I was in Texas, I'd be there. And I just like got to a point where I'd reply back and be like, well, this dude's from Philly. Like, what are you talking about? Like he has a full-time job and a family. He's down here. What do you mean if you like, no, you're just not here. And there are people that couldn't make it because of work and these other, commitments, which I get, but they would donate, right? Because they understood, like, I just want to be a part of helping.
Yeah.
And so it kind of created this, I don't know if it's good or bad, but almost this more selective process in my mind of who I want around me. I want people that want to help people. And if you're not part of that, I don't have space for it, right? And if you want to become part of that, then like reach out. That's
Definitely.
cool. But I like people that are listening to this right now, I'm sure, they're like, well, that dude hasn't responded to me in months. Look in the mirror. Don't ask me about it. You go look in the mirror, right? And the reason most of them won't ask, right? They won't say what's going on or what happened or what changed, what shifted. That's what I would do. If you didn't respond to me for a week, I'd be like, hey, we gotta chop it up. Like, what's going on? I'm not gonna keep saying, hey man, hey man, hey man, hey. Like, clearly there's something off. So just have the accountability in yourself to A, look in the mirror, and B, and if you really don't have the awareness to know, then ask. I'll tell you. But it's no more surface for me. It's like you're either this person of service, of love, of humility, of growth, or you're over here somewhere. It doesn't mean I don't love you. You're just over there, right? And that's been an important lesson for me to learn too. Like, not everyone's meant to come on the journey, dude. Definitely. Just not.
It's kind of part of that priority matrix that we were talking about 20 minutes ago or whatever that was, where it's like doing your best not to judge them, but it's just a good reminder of those people that are serving you and willing to pour into you, because it's a mutual relationship where the energy has to flow both ways too. It can't just go in one direction.
And that's the other thing too, is like, I don't need you to pour into me. I need you to pour into you. If you're not willing to pour into yourself, I'm not pouring shit. That's what I'm saying. Like, people reach out and ask for help around sobriety, business, fitness, whatever the avenue is. And if you reach out and ask me for help, I'm gonna show up and help you. But my whole thing is like, if you're not willing to pour into yourself and do those things, I'm not going to continue to pour anymore.
Definitely.
I'm just not. And we've had mutual people in our lives where that exists. It's like you do what you got to do until you're ready to do what you need to do, right? And I'm not saying I have the perfect outline, the perfect plan for life. But if you ask me for help and I take time to give it to you, and then you literally don't show up for yourself, it's not just spitting in your face, it's spitting in mine.
Definitely.
It's like saying my experience isn't real.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think that it's all this reshaping. I feel like that's what life constantly is, and you have to stay like almost a level of moldable. You have to be so strong and, if you will, like cured out in your foundation of morals, but there's all these extra parts of you that need to remain moldable so you can improve. Yeah.
I feel like as you're speaking, I feel like we almost don't put enough emphasis into Jesus's model with the 12 disciples, right? Where it's like, he went to countless numbers of towns, spoke to thousands of people, lectured, healed all these people, performed miracles. But it was really the 12 disciples that he poured into the most. And then they all went out and carried out his mission. And now that's why Christianity is what it is from those immediate 12. But it wasn't 50, it wasn't 100. Like, I feel like that was a very intentional, manageable, small selective number of people to go all the way into. And then you look at the impact that they've had. And I feel like it's kind of a good model for ourselves too.
Yeah, it's the compounding interest thought too. It's like, even if it's 3, I would say it's better to pour into 3 than to pour into 50, right? You got to find that number for yourself. Like, what's your ability? How thin can you go before it's not impactful?
Yeah.
And the only way to find that for each person is trial and error. For Jesus, it was 12, right? which means for me, it's probably not 12.
Yeah.
It means I probably am not that efficient. You know, I probably can't do 12. But if it's 3 or 4, that's still great, because if you can impart something special on 3 or 4 and they can take that and give it to 2 or 3, right? The number still grows exponentially over time. And I think that's what it's really about. It's like, it's the 5-bag Freddy story. Nolan and I were talking about this yesterday. I don't know if it's Luke or it's Matthew, that parable. Do you know?
I don't know which gospel it is. The parable of the talents.
Yeah. But like, essentially, it's like, what do you do with what God gives you? Right? Are you multiplying it exponentially? Are you pouring it into other people? Are you growing it? Or are you burying it in the ground and doing nothing with it? And the way the parable goes, like, essentially, the people that multiplied it were celebrated. The person that buried it in the ground and just kept it safe and held on to it and didn't do anything with it is cast out. Right? And so I try to think about that, not just when it comes to like people, but like everything that I do. It's like, are you moving it towards the greater good, or are you actually just impacting it in a negative way?
Definitely.
You know, and staying still is negative.
It is negative.
Yeah. So,
not to change gears a little bit, but you had a post yesterday where you were essentially saying that, I think you caught up with our buddy Matt Johnson. Shout out Matt. He's about to do Run Across Texas, 1,000 miles. It's going to be an incredible race. But I think you were essentially saying, like, coming off the back of doing 200-mile ultras, that training was hard. And this transformation you've had with training and following this diet plan, I don't know if you use the word easier or more enjoyable, but I feel like that was I just kind of want you to expand on that.
Easy is what I used.
Easy.
And people are going to take that personal, and that's fine. I really don't care. I don't. I would say it depends why you're in sport, like what the reason is, right? So for context, you have to understand, I never got into endurance sports to become a champion. It was never the route. It was never the process. It was never part of the plan. I didn't care about any of that. It was to learn about myself. Mm-hmm. Fortunately or unfortunately, I learned the most about myself in suffering. I don't know if everyone's wired that way. I have no clue. Can't speak on it. I know what the Bible says about it, but for me, that's where I learned the most about myself. So phase 1 of that was an Ironman. And I thought, like, during that process of 13 months of losing 100 pounds and training for an Ironman with Natasha, I thought, there's no way I can do more. There's no way. But swimming, biking, running, up at 4 a.m., maybe in bed by 10, body's destroyed. Like, and at the end of it, you reset. And actually, I gave a shout out to Nick Bear this week.
Which he responded to.
Yeah.
Which is very cool.
Yeah, it was cool, man. It was like a full circle moment for me. 5 years.
I know he's going to come on the pod this fall. That's my prediction.
Sure. Yeah, I think so too. But 5 years, right? That's what I tell people, like, don't worry about today. Just do right today. 5 years. And he said, hey, I really appreciate you, brother. Right? Like, that for me was like, dude sees it, right? I haven't pushed for that relationship. I'm good. It's going to naturally happen. But back to the point, like, I didn't think I could do more than I did in a full Ironman. I never did a half. It was just like, off the rip, I'm going to lose 100 pounds and show the world, like, in a year, this is what's possible. Coming off the back of that, I was like, okay, what's harder? That ain't enough. Like, there's more to learn. It wasn't about the physical side. Nick Bear was doing 100-mile ultras. I was like, great. He can do it. I can do it. Same thought process with the Ironman. It took me 3 years.
That's what a lot of people don't know.
It took me 3 years, right? Ironman in 12 months, from 300 pounds to 200 pounds, Ironman. To finish a 100-mile ultra, 3 years. Same weight. I didn't have to lose all the weight. I wasn't in a constant deficit. I was able to eat. I was able to fuel properly. I didn't do any of that during the Ironman. Mm-hmm. I was in a deficit the whole time to lose weight. So if that doesn't explain to you difficulty of completion, I don't know what else would, right? I was able to properly fuel my body for 3 years and take care of myself, and it took 3 years to do 100 miles. Whereas the Ironman, I didn't have to take that good care, like nutritionally, I didn't have to take that good of care of myself. I was in a deficit, and I was still able to complete it. So degree of difficulty for me, personally, ultra marathon. And the reason I said, before I get into the weightlifting transformation, ultra marathon is mentally and emotionally abusive. That's how I'll describe it. And, you know, I'm sure I'm not going to speak for the guy. I'll let Matty J open up, you know, on his own end about what that experience is like for him. He shared a little bit through social media. But for me, it's destructive, man. It's hard because no matter what, I got to wake up and run 10 miles. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what my friends are doing, my family's doing, where the barbecue party's at. Like, it doesn't matter. I got to wake up, drive to Austin, park at Squatch, put my shoes on, walk in, give Donahue a fist pound, take a piss in the bathroom, throw water on my face, and head out every single morning. That's what I'm doing. Years of that. So that consistency is really difficult. It's not like you're waking up and brushing your teeth every morning. Like, it becomes that natural. It's just difficult, and it beats the body down, and you always hurt. There wasn't a morning I got out of bed where I didn't hurt.
Yeah.
So mentally, emotionally, but that's where I learned the most about myself. And then I think after, and you were there for both of them, after that 3-year mark of like, we essentially completed 2 100-milers in 8 weeks. And after the second one, I'm like, I'm good. I don't need to learn anymore right now, right? I want to feel healthy. I want to feel good. And so that's why the weightlifting and the nutrition piece has been easy. Like, bro, I got to go work out for an hour. I was running 2.5 hours and trying to lift for an hour just to like maintain any mass, falling apart hormonally, like it just destroyed. Same thing with Ironman, big time commitment. But like to go lift weights for an hour and to make the right decision 5 times a day on what I'm putting in my body, that's easy. That's 6 things, 6 decisions a day. Think about how many decisions you make a day. Thousands.
Literally, more.
6 of them are food and workout related. That's very simple. And so for me, like, that's why when people say, like, I don't buy excuses anymore. Like, I don't have time to go to the gym. Okay. Like, what do you want me to say, dude? I'm not going to sit here and list off the things I do every day. You know. But, like, I'm not making excuses. You just get it done. And I'm still getting my sleep. Now, are there some nights I get 3-4 hours? Yeah. But it's okay. Because there's also nights where I'll get 10. Just randomly. You know what I mean? It just comes. But to me, that's God steering the ship. He's saying, okay, I'm going to let you operate on 4 hours. That's why I don't buy into this, like, got to have 8 hours perfect every single night, and you shut it down early because you have to hit this sleep preference. It's like, no, God, he'll put me to sleep when I'm ready to rest.
Yes.
And he does. And I know if I lay down and I've laid down for 20 minutes and I can't fall asleep, that's God also saying, like, put the throttle back down.
Definitely.
And I will. And so I think that it's just important for people to recognize that, like, there's always something harder. There's always something more difficult. And I never got into any of the endurance stuff for physical, like, feats, right? I didn't get into it to look good. I knew hormonally it was going to crush me. I've been lighter than this before. I've never been this ripped or lean. It's because, for me personally, and Matt will tell you the same thing, the optimal human isn't running 10, 12 miles a day.
They're not.
It just is what it is. It destroys you. The optimal human is making the correct choices nutritionally. They're functionally moving their body, right? And that's really it. It's not that difficult, right? So, like, I don't have space for it anymore when someone's like, I don't have time. It's like, well, you got time for everything else. I saw you at the beach last weekend screwing off for 17 hours, building sandcastles and shit. Like, what do you mean you don't have time? You just don't want it. And that's okay. But you're over there now. I can't. We're over here. You're over there.
And just tell the truth about it.
Just own it. Just face it. Like, it is what it is.
It's even a good starting point, just to own it and face where you're at.
Yeah. And zero's not a bad spot. I tell people all the time, rock bottom's great. In reflection. In the moment, it's hell. But in reflection, it's like, thank God. Thank God I found a bottom. There's no better place to start. Because then you can look back. Not too often, but every now and then you can look back, take a peek, and be like, oh, yeah. We're good.
Yeah, I remember, because really how that 30-day challenge started, you were pushing serious running volume leading up to those 100-milers. That's why you created the challenge to begin with. And there were a lot of mornings where you would you would drive from New Braunfels to Squatch, park your truck at Squatch, and then do that 10-mile loop that you were doing. And I remember thinking to myself, like, I'm here the same time, but I'm picking and choosing the cardio workout that I'm doing, the strength training workout. I'm like, you couldn't pay me enough money to do that type of I just remember having that serious reflection, and then take it a step further, seeing you firsthand at those races where it's like you couldn't have done anything more to prepare, but just like the monotony of just like left foot, right foot, and like just the crushing and the pounding that puts on your entire body. Like it was humbling for me as someone that had done 100K. I was like, dude, I don't know if I like, yeah, just seeing the pain that you and some of the other athletes were willing to endure just to get that belt buckle and that pride, and just be able to check the box on that 3-year goal that you had. It was insane.
Yeah. And I just think that here's what's hard for me to digest. That was only 6 months ago.
Feels like a lot longer,
yeah.
Doesn't it?
Yeah. 6 months ago, we were at Rocky. And coming up on, well, it's actually probably 7 months this weekend. It's 11/11. Weird. But that's what it was, man. And those experiences together, though, grew our friendship.
Definitely.
You know, we had a lot of good laughs out there. A lot of like, why? What are we doing? You basically spoon-fed me honey.
I think you killed like a full bottle of honey on your last lap.
Yeah.
At Brazos.
Yeah. We just had but I wouldn't trade those experiences for anything.
No.
But when I think back on it now, like, and I've said this publicly, like there are 3 endurance races I would come back for. Badwater 135, I'd pour into that. Leadville, if I hit that lottery, I'd go do it. And then if Antarctica does an ultra, I'd go rip that. That's it. I don't care. Like, and that's only because it would be like this insane challenge. I don't need to go run 100 miles. I don't need to run 400 miles in a month again. It doesn't prove, like, it's already been done.
Yeah.
And so for me, it's like taking all of that mental, emotional training and applying it to other areas of my life. Like,
that's the sauce.
That's the sauce. Like you walk into a business meeting, for instance, and you have presence, you have posture, and they're like, man, this guy probably works out, right? And then you're like, the spiteful side of me that exists, and I think, look, dudes can say it all they want. Everybody's got it.
Everyone feels it.
But the spiteful side of me in my brain's like, yeah, motherfucker, and I did 100 miles twice in 8 weeks 6 months ago. Like, this is me now. Like, what do you want me? You know what I mean? Like, you can't hold a flame to me. It's that, right? It's that leverage it gives you. And people talk about in business specifically, like, if you don't have leverage, you have no business. It's that simple.
Yeah.
If you walk in, you have weak posture, weak handshake, weak presence, no one's going to respect you. No one's going to give you their time. No one's going to fund you. You have to have that.
Definitely.
And in today's world, it honestly gives you a level of leverage it's second to none. There's people that find success that don't have that posture and presence, right? So imagine if you do have it. People are automatically like more willing to work with you, especially if you look the part, they know you're disciplined, right? And people make fun of discipline all the time. They're like, wow, that guy seems so structured. He's maniacal about what time he gets up and what he does and the order of operations. People want to give you shit about it until they see what comes from it. How'd you do that? I showed you, motherfucker. And you gave me shit about it. That's how I did it. And so I've gotten to a place where I'm not trying to explain that anymore. It's just like, there it was.
You just become the proof of work.
Yeah.
I think that's another cool thing that I've taken from founders is like you listen to all these great people that have essentially like shaped capitalism in the United States, and you're my immediate thought when I was listening to it is like, their IQ must be off the charts, they must have this patented technology, and then you hear these quotes like the guy Izzy Sharp who founded Four Seasons. It's like excellence is the capacity to take pain. James Dyson, same thing. It took him 12 years, 5,100 prototypes just to create the first vacuum. So it supports what you're saying, where it's like that really is the game that we're in. Is it's like the ability to just tolerate pain until you get the outcome that you ultimately want. And that's why you did the 2 races in 8 weeks. And the goal is like you got what you needed, and now you're just going to apply those into those other buckets of your life. And then the goal is to just like never forget that spiritual and mental component of like what you gain when you were out there.
100%. And you have to remember, this is what I believe. I don't care how gifted you are from an intellectual perspective. I will outlast you. I'll sit here longer. I'll suffer longer. And eventually I'll surpass your intelligence. That's just how it works.
Yeah.
Like time always exceeds. It might take a lot. You know what I mean? And that's why you talk about these different founders. There's some really smart founders, right?
Oh, absolutely.
For sure. But there's also some people, you meet them and you're like, that guy, like we took like a standard test right now, an IQ test. I'd blow him up.
Yes.
He's worth $80 million. What's your excuse? He's just willing to suffer longer. That's how he did it.
Yeah.
He beat down more doors.
I think my new definition of intelligence is, are you actually able to get the things out of life that you want to get out of life?
Right.
Because it's just more practical.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why I leaned in to the August challenge of last year, because I was like, hey, when July was wrapping and you did this challenge for a few months, I had felt like, hey, these things that I identified with, this 100K, all these marathons, this Ironman, these half Ironmans, with these endurance pursuits, I don't feel like that person anymore because I'm addicted to kratom. I'm door dashing food. I'm pudgy. Like my muscle's not hard anymore. It's like I'm clinging on to these things that I no longer identify with. And if you continue on this path, especially knowing you're going to be getting married and you're trying to build this great supplement company, like you're just a fraud. And
Right.
so that was just these like realization moments of, hey, here's where I'm at. Here's how I need to course correct. And I've just constantly done that this whole year.
Yeah. It's about having that baseline.
Yes.
You need that baseline.
Yes.
And I love Andy Frisella, First Form. Love it. But I'll say this publicly too. 75 hard ain't that hard. It's just a baseline. I know people that's their life. That's what they do.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, you watch Frisella, it's like that clock just starts over. And he might make it to 37, have an off day, but then it's day one of 75. Like his life is that. And what he's doing, he's not rubbing it in anybody's face. He's literally telling you, like, this is what it takes. And that's why these people that reach out and be like, well, what do I need to do? It's like, just pay attention. And I spoke about this about Nick Bear. I never once DM'd him and said, hey, how did you find success? I just watched.
Yeah.
He's going to show you. The evidence is he is doing it. Whereas there's a lot of people on social media, bro. I've seen it firsthand, and I've been close with people like this. They post this level of excellence, right? But over time, you watch them fall off, and they're still posting they're still talking the same shit, right? But their business hasn't grown. Their fitness has went backwards. They have bags under their eyes. They look miserable. They're upset. They're sad. Their life's falling apart. They're still promoting the same message. Pay attention. Those aren't the people that you need to learn from.
Yes.
They're just talking, right? People like Nick Bear, stone cold opposite, dude. I told you, and we've had this conversation many times, I know his schedule. Like, I know what he's doing. Right now, he's at work, right? But this morning at 5 a.m., he had his run shoes on, running 7 to 12 miles. Guaranteed, no questions asked. He comes home. Before he takes a shower, he comes in the house quiet because his family's still sleeping, prepares breakfast, right? Spends time with his family in the morning, gets ready for work, goes to work, performs at an extremely high level, trains with his team in the afternoon, right? At his gym, at their location, comes home, spends the evening with his family.
Yeah.
That's the life, dude. That's what I want, period. The only way to get that, you got to emulate it. And so stop asking people how they do it. Just pay attention. It's lazy almost. It's all right there. But that's what people like to do. They'll ask about it, you'll tell them, and then they'll pick it apart. Well, what I don't want to do this piece or that piece, or I don't know about this, or I don't have time for this, or like you don't do, it's like, I don't have time for it anymore.
Yeah.
Just watch.
Yes.
So, I think that, and that's even for me, the last 6 months, that's taken on even a greater shift. Like I thought I was pressing hard for the 100 milers. I'm putting in just as much work, if not more work now. It's just not in my legs. Right? And people will question things like, how are you able to lift that hard that many days and recover? I'm like, this ain't shit. That's fun. Like I can go, It takes 30 minutes to squat your body weight, 100 reps. That's what it takes.
And you'll be destroyed.
And demolished.
And your legs will grow the next week.
That's what it takes. It takes 24 minutes to do it on deadlift.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to hear it. You have time. Make it. You know what I mean? And so my whole thing is about widening the gap. Like, I want to provide undeniable proof and evidence that I'm the guy, not that guy.
Mm-hmm.
Where I don't have to explain it anymore. And it's getting there. I'll be completely frank with you. Like, I'll walk into different places and do different things. I don't need to explain shit. Your wife's looking, right?
Proof of work.
It's like, hey, you need to deal with that, not me.
Yeah.
That means you're not doing shit. You're not up to the standard. She's on my Instagram looking at my proof of work. That just means you ain't doing what you need to do.
Mm-hmm.
That'll never be the case for me. There's no reason to look anywhere else.
Yes.
Because no one can measure. That's the level of competitiveness that my brain's on.
Definitely.
But the only way to get there is to compete with yourself. You cannot. 5 years ago, if I would have said, I'm going to beat Nick Bear, it's not going to happen. You know why? Because he's been putting in work a lot longer. He's been building a lot longer. I'm not there, right? But over the course of time, if you're willing to do like 0.25% more, 0.5%, you're gaining. And I'm still not there. I'll be the first to tell you, I'm not Nick Bear. Like, full respect. Like, I respect that dude and what he's done and what he's built. I'm not there. I'm still going. But like, the only way for me to continue to gain any ground is to compete with who I was yesterday, and that goes back to the graph. So
5 years ago, the first step was literally just put the bottle down.
that's it.
Think about that.
One thing.
To what we're talking about now.
It's insane.
What you're trying to do.
It's insane.
How cool that is.
Yeah, it blows my mind. But like, you need pain and suffering in order to hit that growth. Like, that's Andrew Tate talks a lot about this, and a lot of viewers, I'm sure, just love him to pieces. But, and I'm not saying I agree with everything the dude says. But I value some of his insight. I think that there's some insight there that does impact in a positive direction. One of the things he talks about is around suffering as a man. If you want to grow as a man, you must suffer, right? Sometimes you can create that own suffering, right? By signing up for an ultra marathon and putting yourself through the training. Other times, it's out of your control. And that's really what you're preparing for. Who are you going to be in that moment when you're broken? And you've seen me broken.
Yeah.
You've witnessed it. You know what that looks like. You've seen how bad that is. But you only have two options, right? And he talks about this. You either prove someone right or you prove someone wrong. That's it. And by doing that and strip your focus from everything else and be like, okay. And a lot of this is rooted like all the way back to my dad, which I've obviously grown through. His 2-year death anniversary is actually this Sunday.
Wow.
Which is mind-boggling.
That's bananas, because I remember us talking about that when he passed.
That was right after.
Yeah.
It's been 2 years. To look at the last 2 years even is like, but when I think about it, I'm like, it is a bad decision to bet against me. It's not smart. I'm going to beat you. Period. It doesn't matter at what. I don't know how to play chess, but I'll learn just to beat you.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't, and people will be like, oh, like that must be such a horrible way to live. Like, always feel the need to compete and prove yourself. Like, nah, like that's where I want to be. Because it's not even about that. It's about where it takes me.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that's what Tate talks about is like this piece of like, you have that decision to make, prove them right or prove them wrong. Like, check the receipts, dude. I don't need to say anything else. Check the receipts. Just look, open your eyes, right? But that's what drove me. And people will be like, well, that's such an unhealthy driving force. And it's like, it might have been. If you can't transmute out of that, I get it. Like, if you live in that permanently, it's not a good place to be.
No.
But if you live in that long enough to get to the place where it's like, actually, this was God's path.
Mm-hmm.
That's where the ticket clicks. And it's like, oh, I'm already on this path now. This was God's path. It was his plan all along. Now we keep going.
Yes. That's
the ultimate superpower. But if it takes spite to get you there, take it.
Dude, I mean, I even remember what really motivated me training for Ironman Waco was just thinking about, I would say, the most humiliating thing for me was just being on a big scholarship at Seton Hall, converting to being a pitcher, getting cut from the team. And I had this vivid memory of just like being mentally broken, and we lost to Creighton, and I think we got swept by Creighton, and we just did this like punishment running, and me just being like the worst runner by far and just like collapsing while we were running. And we would all joke about it and stuff, but it was like actually really humiliating deep down, just like being that guy. Mm-hmm. And I just remember thinking during the Ironman training, I'm like, I know none of these guys are even thinking about doing anything like this. Yeah. Like, what are they going to do when they see that? Like, that was just the fuel that I went back to on those Monday long runs in Manhattan that I was doing before I got to Austin full time. And I think if people don't have that, at least to start, I think they're probably full. You think you just have to figure out like what are those motivational anchors that are going to help get you to where you want to go. And then I agree. I think the goal is to grow out of it to a certain extent and figure out your relationship with the Lord. But like, I still have to tap into that stuff now. I was praying out loud. I pray out loud in my car all the time. And what I do is I just share like the brutally honest truth with God, because he knows if I'm lying to him too. For sure. Where it's like, we're like, God, please give me the perfect wisdom. I literally just said, I'm like, God, I want Noble to be successful so bad. I'm going to be honest with you. There's definitely part of this that's rooted in, there's an egotistical element where I just want to prove that I can make this company successful because I know you've given me the powers to do that. But I also firmly believe that your hand is at the center of this business, and I could be a really good steward of like the fruits that come from us making this thing successful. But just like telling that truth. And that's what I wrestle with and what I'm working through. Like there is that like masculine, hyper-competitive element blended with just wanting to be a good servant of the Lord too. And I think you can reach some type of a blend, but I'm at least like, I'm just trying to be honest with the Lord about it because it's there.
Yeah. I've thought a lot about that too. And it goes back to utilizing the gifts that you're given. If you're not, look, and this might be right, this might be wrong, don't really care, this is where I'm at with it. As a male, if you don't have this hyper masculine competitive side to you, like you're useless to me. And that's okay. You can be useful to someone else. Mm-hmm. You're just not of use to me, right? There's a part of me, like, and to go back to the ego side of it is like, what happens when you Google your name? What pops up?
Yeah, like college sports accolades, things with Noble, podcasts, stuff like that.
Right. I want mine to be pages.
Yes.
Like, I don't care about Kent. I love Kent State. Shout out Golden Flashes. But like, I don't care. People don't even know that I played D1 football.
You don't want your 2010 Kent State roster picture being the second thing that pops up on Google.
Bro, I go home. I swear, I go home and I talk to the guys who are like, man, you remember high school football? I'm like, bro, that was 2010.
Yeah.
15 years ago. That was your peak. That's embarrassing. Get out of my face. Like, I don't do something. You know what I mean? Or like, they played D1 football. That was their peak. I refuse to hit a peak. I might plateau for a minute, but that ain't it. I want pages. I want D1 football. I want podcaster. I want business owner, SCSI Austin. I want New York Times bestseller when the book comes out. I want recovery center owner and operator. I want public speak. Like, just roll it. Mm-hmm. Roll the Rolodex, if you will. Like, I don't want one thing. I want all of it. But I think that is specifically stewarding the gifts that God gave me.
Yeah.
Goggins even talked about this early on in the Can't Hurt Me book. He was kind of like, he wanted to show up at the gates of heaven and be able, like, God to open up his scroll, right, so to speak, and be like, hey, these were all the things I had set out for you to accomplish in life. You were a good servant. You actually added to the list. Think about that. Like, how do you push it even further? God's going to slow you down, bro. He always does. If you're working in him and through him, mm-hmm. he's not going to let you fail or die. You just have to keep working. And so I think that there's a side of me that's like, you have to believe it, though. You have to have a level of ego to believe that you actually are who you say you are and mm-hmm. do the things that you say you do.
Yeah.
And that's my whole issue around social media. Like, I don't even worry about it anymore. Somebody, it's like, okay, well, just here's my address. Somebody said something about the squat. Like, are you really doing 100? Bro, here's my address.
Yeah.
Pull up. We can hit it. I'll do it back-to-back days. You want to see some maniacal shit? Like, here. I don't care. They don't pull up. They're not about it. They're just trolls.
Mm-hmm.
That's fine. Enjoy that life, right? I'll give you every opportunity to show up and show out, but like, I refuse to put myself out there as like someone that I'm not. Because what happens when you do get called out? You're screwed.
You get exposed.
You get bad. And that's something I respect about Nick Bear again, or David Goggins. Go ahead, call them out. Say they're fake. They're going to bury you, dude.
Yeah.
They're going to bury you. Shout out Tim Kennedy. Same thing. People in the media, people saying a lot of different things, whatever. I know the guy that I know.
Mm-hmm.
And everything that I've seen from him is real. Has he said things that weren't perfect? Sure. He'll be the first to acknowledge that. He actually did, right? But in that same breath, every time I've showed up, he's invited me places. He's been solid for me, right? He showed up at the right time in my life.
Mm.
He's taught me things about how to become better, right? No man is perfect. We're all imperfect. As long as you can own your shortcomings, you're a good man.
Yeah.
And I think that, those are the type of people I want to emulate and pursue. And you have to take bits and pieces from everybody. I think the next big challenge for me, and I'll speak it publicly, it just like really spun up yesterday. So everything in my life has taken longer to achieve and that's what happens when your goals get bigger. Like Ironman was 1 year, 100 miler was 3 years. The next thing that I really want is I want to earn my black belt in jiu-jitsu. I don't know how long it's going to take. Years, right? But I want that. I want that piece, right? I want that element to my life. I want that to be in my Google description. And it's like, how sharp can you make your sword? How sharp can you make it? And when do you run out of sword to sharpen?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know how big my platform is, like what I'm working with.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to find out. Cam Hanes talked about it after his most recent race. He was crying. And he's like, I'm just trying to find my limit.
Wow.
And he's like, I haven't found it yet. He's like, I want to find it so bad. He's like, I just want to know where I can't. He's like, I got to find it. And I thought about that, and I'm like, man, if everybody carried a sliver of that mindset,
mm-hmm.
this world would be a better place.
Definitely.
Men would be a lot stronger, a lot more capable.
Mm-hmm.
This man was actually crying. I've never even seen him get emotional.
I was shocked when you said that.
Yeah.
I didn't see that clip.
Yeah.
I can't imagine him crying.
Yeah. He's literally emotional talking about like, I just want to find my limit. I can't find it. And I'm like, bro, that's beautiful. I've never seen the man cry. That's what got him. So
yeah,
I'm trying to tap into that.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Because who I am today, like, great. I tell people this all the time. Like, the accolades are great. Google me, that's fine. It gives you proof of evidence, receipts. Like, I'll stack those against anybody's in the last 5 years. Don't care. None of that matters if I'm not in pursuit of something else tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
You have to keep going. You don't have to, I guess, right? But then you're going to be the guy, right? That everyone's like, man, Triple's doing a lot. He was really doing well for himself, and now like he's still talking about the book he wrote in 2025. No, I don't want that life.
I'm on to the next thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're making a documentary now. We're doing, whatever it is, whatever that thing. I have no clue what it is.
Yeah.
But it's just like you have to keep going to the next thing. That's like the whole concept around this word hustle. I hate it.
You don't like it?
The word hustle. No, people don't hustle. Think about athletics. How many people actually hustle?
I mean, in the big leagues, like no one.
Like the most hustle I've ever seen, probably like middle school football, high school football, right? There's no ego. The only thing that separates you is work ethic. Athleticism hasn't, like later in high school maybe, but middle school athleticism hasn't fully taken over yet.
Yep.
What separates you is effort. Take that same effort as your gifts have been developed and apply it to your life. You're going to pass everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I try to tap into that daily. It's like, that's what got me where I got to. It was just effort. I was never the most physically talented. Just wasn't. But like effort.
Mm-hmm.
Period. Ray Lewis talks a lot about that.
Kobe did too.
And pain created, like for Ray, pain created a lot of that. Watching his mom go through what she went through and doing, like he talks about the deck of cards. And like the promise he made to his mom, no man will ever put hands on you like that again. Okay, So I think for me, it's this culmination of a million things that keep me on the right path. But I also have like a little bit of Michael Irvin in me. I don't know if you've watched the recent Cowboys documentary.
I haven't seen it.
It's good to veg out on if you need time with Dana. Just saying. But he's an ultra successful human, but he's got a loose cannon side.
Where did he come from? Is he from Miami?
Yeah, so he grew up in Fort Lauderdale. He played at the U. Ultra successful at the U, drafted by the Cowboys, only played for the Cowboys, played under Jimmy Johnson, a couple other coaches, won 3 Super Bowls, a few Pro Bowls, but like had this wild side to him, right? And I still got a little bit of that to me too. It just doesn't involve drugs or alcohol. Mm-hmm. But I think that those are some of the most successful people. Like you got to be able to have that like crazy side.
Yeah.
And I know I got it. And I think I used to run from it, especially in sobriety. Like, no, I want to be this straight-laced individual. Fuck that. I'm not. Like, I want to cut it loose. Mm-hmm. But I just need to cut it loose in the right path.
Definitely. He's got that magnetic aura, too.
Yeah, just the energy.
Yeah.
What's crazy about our friendship, I think, though, is like every time we sit down or every time we have a conversation, it doesn't matter if it's 2 months or 2 days apart, it spins into the same thing.
It really does.
It does.
Yeah.
And that's insane to me, and that's so rare. And we never have conversations about the weather. I've thought about this. When have we ever had a conversation like, dude, it's so hot outside? It doesn't happen.
It doesn't happen.
No, it's depth every time, straight to the deep end.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, you probably screwed up a lot of friendships for me by doing that because I don't want to talk to people about like whatever.
It's hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, I find that like I'm noticing that I'm almost getting more socially awkward with just like the kind of normal status quo conversations where I don't really know how to respond. Like I almost feel like a fish out of water. It's an interesting sensation.
I've found that most people dig for information from people just so they can talk shit behind their back.
That's 100% true.
That's why they want to know things.
Yeah.
So that has automatically made me more socially awkward. Because I'm very hesitant on what I like. My whole life's public, but you know this. Like, there's certain things I do not talk about, right? Things that I keep very private and close to the chest. There's plenty of things that I could air out that I don't, because I don't see it as beneficial to the greater good. I try to share it in ways that are positively an impact on others, and I keep that information, like the things that have hurt me the most, you know everything about. The world doesn't, because what does that do? Like, how does that serve the greater good?
It doesn't.
It doesn't. What serves the greater good is saying, hey, this thing for a moment in time destroyed me. Doesn't matter what the thing was, right? It did. And this is what I did with it.
Yes. That's
what matters, because that's the piece that people can connect with. You don't have to talk shit on anyone. If you know, you know. If you don't know, you don't know. But you just need to know there was this thing.
Yeah.
And then this thing came out of it. And that is what's important for people to pay attention to in life, is like how you transmute instances or occurrences in life into something greater. Mm-hmm. Because that's the story, is like, do you fall off or do you take it to the next level?
Definitely.
And I think that, like with us, we've gotten to see each other in some pretty vulnerable moments.
The most.
And have these conversations where it's like, I know if I share something like deeply vulnerable with you, you're not going to whoever and saying like, listen to how screwed up this dude is. It's just a level of trust.
Yeah.
And it's because, though, people don't like hearing this, I know things about you that you don't want people to know.
That's what I was going to say, is basically any mistake or emotion you've ever shared, I've either done that in my own way or experienced that same thing.
Right.
So there's no high horse.
Right. It's just like, this is who we are.
And if I judge you, God will then humble me and I'll go do the same exact thing. It's happened to me so many times.
Me too.
Throughout the course of my life.
Yeah. And I think that's why these types of friendships or even brotherhoods are important. It's like, I mean, people need to know this too in the audience. Like, we battle. Like, we.
Absolutely.
Dude, like, so I'm not perfect. I went home. I flew home to stop and see my mom and do some things to then come to your wedding. I didn't show up at the wedding. Flight got canceled. I could have booked a train. Mom told me to stay. God's got something to unveil. Mm-hmm. I reached out to you. I was like, hey, this is what it is. This is what's up. It wasn't like I wasn't invested. I had the flight.
Yeah.
I bought the tux, right? I was there.
Yeah.
You just hit me back and you're like, yeah, we'll figure it out later. Like, it's all good. Like, you obviously had other things to focus on.
Yeah.
any other person, that would have broken it.
Mm-hmm.
It would have. It'd been like, all right, write that guy off.
Yeah.
And like, this might sound arrogant or cocky. I never questioned that.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, we'll figure it out. We're going to figure it out. And I think that there's also on the flip side of that coin been times in my life, maybe not on that specific scale because I haven't been married,
Mm-hmm.
that you've pissed me off.
Of course.
And I'm like, it doesn't matter, because I know at the end of the day, foxhole.
Definitely.
That's what's important.
Yes.
Right? Can I call him? If I call him enough times at 3 a.m, will he answer?
Mm-hmm.
The answer is yes. Are there people in both of our lives, if they call us 1,000,000 times at 3 a.m, they're not getting picked up, dude?
Yes.
You know?
Dude, 100%.
You might tell me about it in the morning. Like, listen to this crazy, you know what I mean? But like,
yeah.
that's the separating factor. And I think it's because we actually know so much about each other.
Yes.
And we're not that far apart when it comes to a lot of these things,
Mm-hmm.
or these vices, or these failures, or these shortcomings. You're younger than me in age, but there are areas of your life that you're much wiser in.
Mm.
I try to pick from those things. I want my Dana, right? Okay, that's great. Anybody can say that. What do I need to do to establish that?
Yes.
What are the decisions I need to make? If you look at our timelines, the things that I've had to learn and go through, they're not that far off from yours,
Mm-hmm.
right? As far as like time and distance, just I'm older, right? And I think there's a flip side of that coin too, where it's like there are things in my life that you could emulate that if you follow that same timeline, the same outcome, right?
Definitely.
I think that's what makes it unique. And I think that there's that's hard to find, dude.
Yes.
It's so hard to find. And I think the harder you look for it, the harder it is to find.
Yes.
It's like, just people say, are you lonely? Dude, does an entrepreneurial life committed and dedicated to fitness, service, and faith, does that life look lonely sometimes? Yes.
100%.
Yes. Lonely from a worldly perspective. But someone shared this with me one time. Like, if you ever get really lonely, whether it's driving, you're at home after a long work day, whatever, just imagine like Jesus is hanging out with you.
Mm-hmm. It's right there.
The greatest.
Yeah.
The GOAT.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're hanging out with the GOAT.
Mm-hmm.
That's helped me a lot in that. So maybe someone hears that and it impacts them. But it's like, that path is lonely. These people that have 25 friend groups and 75 people, like people around all the time, that's a different kind of loneliness.
Mm-hmm.
They're also lonely.
Yeah, they're trying to fill some type of void.
Yeah. So it's like, I love what we have, just because I don't need a lot more people around.
Mm-hmm.
So
Once you fill that cup up, man, you're all set. I think too, the wedding thing is a good example as well, where it's like, I felt like there was a period for a couple weeks where I was frustrated because I feel like we've done so much for the other person, and it was more so like, I always get a lot of confidence when we're around each other. So I was like, damn, I would have just loved him up on the altar with me. And then the more I was thinking about it, I was like, well, basically every human in your life at some point will let you down besides Christ, because we're all just flawed. I'm flawed, you're flawed. But then what I did is my brain switched to like all the times that you had shown up for me and vice versa, and the times that I had let you down too. And it's just like, I think it's just important with your brothers. It's just to not go tit for tat and just focus on the way that they show up for you. You try and show up for them. You're going to make mistakes. They're going to make mistakes. Forgiveness is important. Like, we've both been mutually forget. Like, I don't know. I just think that stuff is really important.
yeah, and I think, so the decision I made to not come was selfish. Like, at the end of the day, like if you really strip all the bits and pieces around, and I don't need to die, like, you know why I didn't come, but like the details around that, where I made a decision based on what I felt like I needed
At that time.
Yes.
Yeah.
Outside of anyone else's needs.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, in life, we make those decisions, right? Now, this is even hard for me to admit and say, but what ended up happening by me not coming is I saw something or experienced something or had this experience that, like, truthfully was able to cut me free in a different way.
Yes.
To show up for this in a much more pure way.
Definitely.
if you've noticed, like since that point in time, like that moment, our conversations aren't the same.
They're very different.
So I hate to say this, but selfishly, I had to do that.
Yeah.
Or else we'd be having the same conversation. And then we might not have a friendship.
Definitely.
Because you're not going to want to keep having the same conversation. No one wants to. You don't want to talk about the same thing over and over again, especially when you see it clear.
Yeah.
Then you become that guy, right? And we have plenty of them around us. But I was that guy for a while. I wasn't listening to anything. And it was almost like God was like, here, dude, here. This is what you want? This is what you need to see? Here. This is why you missed your best friend's wedding?
Yeah.
There you go.
But I think the beauty in that too is like there's just a lot of power in just honestly owning a decision. And then that allows you as the person to accept that, reflect on all the times you've made mistakes. But then again, like my sample size was like, here are the hundreds of times over the last 2 years that you've shown up for me.
Yeah.
And that's it. It's life, dude.
But that's also, shout out to whoever's honking. That's also why you got to be really strategic about how many cups you pour into.
Yes.
Because if I was pouring into 100 cups, you probably would have looked at that a lot differently. You'd be like, well, he really hasn't done shit for me over the last 2 years. Yeah, we're cool. Like, we eat steak sometimes. But, like, that's why it's so important you pour into, for me, 3 to 4 cups, right? And they've changed dramatically. And, like, this time last year, it was probably 7 cups. 3 of those cups ain't there anymore, right? So I'm able to pour into my 3 or 4 more and show up in a better way. But it takes that. Like, you have to, like, the analogy of trim the fat is so important, right? And it's not just from, like, a physiological perspective. Like, in every aspect of life, like, you have to be willing to cut out the pieces that aren't serving the greater good. And it's hard. But that's God's test.
Yes.
Like, do you believe in my path enough that you're willing to sacrifice something that terrifies you to let go of in order for me to show up for you? He doesn't provide, this is my experience. God doesn't provide what you're looking for until he sees you're willing to sacrifice the thing that allows him to provide that.
Absolutely.
He's like, meet me halfway. It's the same conversation we just had about, like, person to person. Until you're willing to show up for yourself, I'm not. Why would I pour into you? I think God operates on a very similar scale. It's like, you're not willing to make the changes you need to make. Why would I give you this gift?
Yes.
What's the point in that? So you can waste it? No way. So I think the sooner I started to grasp onto that, the better. And it doesn't mean it's easier ever. It's just as difficult for me to let go of things today as it was 6 months ago, a year ago, 5 years ago. The only thing that shifted is, like, at the back end of that decision, I know God has good. I just don't know what good looks like.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But you know it's good, though.
It's good.
Yeah. Dude, I'm excited I just love these conversations as a time capsule, and I think there's going to be relatable things in here for a lot of people. And, dude, there's still, like, a nice fat chunk of the year left, man, to just go all in and see what that looks like. Like, I want to just hit the cardio bike after this conversation, because now I'm like, physically, I know I can push it to another level. Like, that's why I ask you a lot of questions, and I probably listen more than I speak, because, like, I'm trying to pick those pieces from you and implement them into my own life, because I know there's a deeper level to tap into.
Find weakness. That's what and find the people that provide those weaknesses. That's what I'll say to the viewers. Like, Nick Bear exposed my weaknesses. David Goggins exposed my weaknesses. On an intellectual level, I've had people expose my weaknesses. Find that. Chase that. Tim Kennedy exposed my weaknesses in toes to bar and jiu-jitsu. And find those things and then attack them.
Yes.
You will find so much about yourself and you will grow so much. We cannot live in a life of comfort anymore. I'm not designed for that, dude. God didn't give me the gifts to live that life. I refuse to. I see it all over the place, dude. And this is also something people need to know. The more you grow in that path, the more infuriating it is to watch people not.
Absolutely.
You have to detach from that.
Yeah.
And say, I love you, but you're over here now. I'm over here. You want in my life, like, I'm not slowing down anymore. I'll put a hand out, right? But you got to grab it. If you're not willing to grab it, the hand comes back. I'm still going.
Yeah.
Right? I think that's been so important for me to learn. And just in constant pursuit of these weaknesses. I mean, we have a friend that talks about Muse, right? Like, Jacob Donahue. It's one of his big things, like weakness maxing. I mean, it's true. Find what you suck at and go all in. You're going to learn about yourself. And it's all about, like, the more committed you are to the little things, the greater development your life. Like, it's like the make your bed thing, right? The Navy SEAL thing. I don't know if you heard the guy speak. McCraven at the University of Texas. And he's like, start the day by making your bed, give yourself a win, right? Most people don't make their bed. I don't even like making my bed, but I do it because I'm like, all right, I'm going to do this.
It's the first win, baby.
Yeah, and then I'll go do this, and then this, and then this. The more you stack those things, the harder it is to fall off. If you work out in the morning, the harder it is to eat like shit later in the day.
Absolutely.
That's really what it boils down to. So it's like, find what you're weak at and go all in. And beat it. It's that simple.
And you'll be happy what you see at the other side.
Yeah. And
that's it.
Next thing.
Hug the cactus.
Next thing.
That's it.
Yeah. So, I don't know. That's just been kind of the path, I think, the last 5 years, and really the last 6 months has just been magnified on every level. It's like, why can't my business operate at X level? Why can't the podcast operate at X level? Instead of why can't I do something, like why is this happening? It's like, why can't I achieve it?
Yes.
And finding out what those things are and then doing them. Why can't I have abs? I don't know. I never believed it. Got them now. Like, cool. That came from Tate too. He's like, you're pissed off, you heard about something, set an unachievable goal and don't pull your head up until you hit it.
Mm-hmm.
And then by the time you pick your head up, once you hit that goal, like, the thing that got you there doesn't even matter anymore because you're close with God at this point. You've stripped everything else away. So I think that for me, like, that has to be the continual path. Like, and if God blesses me to live till 40, I don't even want to know, dude. Just let it happen. Like, I don't even want to. We're having this conversation 5 years from now. It don't look like this. And if it does, shame on us.
Shame on us.
So same thing in January. I think we should come back. Like, if you're a listener, you're a viewer, you want to see growth, I can speak for myself. See you January 1. September 5th. Gives us 100 and we'll call it 17 days, something like that. 18 days, something like that.
It's a lot of time to open up the gap.
Watch. And if you're not getting to work today after hearing this, I promise you the gap between me and you is only going to be greater.
Yeah.
It's going to be bigger, and it's going to be harder to get started. So start today. Just go. Figure it out. And I think that, again, it's about what you do today. Like, I know what I'm doing when I leave here today. Do you?
Yes.
Okay, great. And then tomorrow's another day. Last piece I want to say is, like, stop living your life based on this schedule of weekdays and weekends.
That's huge.
Especially from a business perspective, right? But all of it plays into it. This whole, like, I'm going to take care, like, let's go like physiologically or just from a body or a fitness perspective. I'm only going to take care of my body Monday through Friday. That is ridiculous. What do you mean? You're giving up those 2 days, especially if you're going out partying and drinking.
Mm-hmm.
People don't realize, like, one night of drinking impacts 3 days. So do that twice, that's 6 days. That means you're more impacted than you grew. It means you're you impacted 6 days, you only grew 5. You're going backwards. Stop living for those moments. The growth happens when you take that away and you just keep growing. Business is the same thing. You're building a business, you won't make a work call on a Saturday, somebody else will.
Yep, 100%.
Somebody else is calling. Somebody else is learning. Somebody else is taking notes. I learned that from my stepdad, like, and he used to piss my mom off so bad, but, like, he would get home from work and pull out his laptop and be building PowerPoints. Just like Jeopardy on in the background. He's building PowerPoints, eating his dinner on the side. Like, and he still works that way. Or he's talking about a rental property or he's buying a property. It's just like nonstop. I'm not saying that that's for everybody, but if you want the things that people don't have, that's what you got to do. That's the separator. There's no Saturday, Sunday. It's just Monday. It's day one. And, like, we've talked about that a million times, but, like, it doesn't matter what you did yesterday anymore. No one cares.
No one cares.
Nobody cares. Like, people can't even, and this is why they don't care. They can't process the things that you've accomplished. If I sit down with someone and I want to rant about what I've done in my life and I dump this information on them and they walk away from that conversation, they're not going to be able to take any of that with them. If I'm like, hey, I don't know the math, 13 years ago, I was a Division I football player. We were MAC champions. We went, we were 16th in the BCS. I left there, created a pretty amazing construction career, made youngest superintendent in company history. Left there, started a business, lost 100 pounds, did an Ironman. After that, did a couple 100-milers, launched a podcast. After that, started writing a book. Then I started pursuing this jiu-jitsu thing. What? It doesn't matter. What are you doing today? What are you doing today?
Yeah.
I don't care about what I did. I want to tell people about what I'm pursuing.
Mm-hmm.
That's the juice.
That's the juice.
It's the next place. And the day I get there, by God, that's the last day it exists. I don't care anymore. It is what it is. I can go back and do any of those things again, other than play college football because I have no eligibility left. If I want to go do an Ironman, I know I can go do that. If I want to go run a 100-miler, I know I can do that. If I want to build another business, I know I can do that. I want to launch another podcast, I know I can do it. I want to write another book. It doesn't matter. What's next? Stop talking about the shit you did. Start talking about the shit you're going to do. That's it.
That's it.
And if you do that and you live that, you're going to grow.
Mm-hmm.
It's that simple. And stop operating on this schedule of Monday through Friday. It's irrelevant.
It's so important, man.
Yeah.
I'm feeling that. I'm experiencing it right now.
Yeah.
And the changes that come from that.
Do you need time blocks to feed the things in your life that are important? Yes. What does that look like for you from a spiritual level? What is that time commitment per day? Think about it this way. If you only live for God on Sunday by going to church and sitting there and not paying attention so you can shake hands and kiss babies, or do you show up for your spiritual side every morning, right? What's going to get you closer to God? Maybe those things in combination, right? I'm not saying community is not important in faith. It is. But I'm saying you can't just do it one day and expect it to be the thing.
Yeah, it's not going to compound.
No, it's got to be every single day. So when I know, I've started reading the Bible on a much more committed level, when I go to church on Sunday, I can automatically understand the scripture better. Bro, I couldn't, it was hard for me to even get through Genesis.
Mm-hmm.
I'm reading about this guy's sister, cousin, this baby. I'm like, what are we talking about? There's a million family members here. I have no clue what's going on. Now when it pops up on the screen, though, because I took time, and it at least makes a little bit more sense.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's how I've grown in it, right? I can comprehend it quicker. That's the spiritual side. Same thing as the fitness side. Okay, you want to get stronger, but all you want to do is go in and bench press the same weight, row the same weight, squat the same weight, deadlift the same weight every single week. You're not getting stronger.
No.
You have to push. You want to grow in your business? You have to push. You want to grow in whatever, it doesn't matter. You have to push. That's why you see so many people get to this place and they're just there. That's great. I'm happy for them. That ain't my life, right? And you really look at you know what fires me up? Think about people that have been given greater gifts than you, right? Genetically. Whether that's intelligence, physically, whatever. Think about the feeling you get when you surpass them. When you know that they were gifted something greater than you. You can't. Nobody else can fill that cup. That's a good feeling.
Self-pride.
Yeah. And I can say it can run wild and it can be negative, but it can also be this thing that feeds you to be even better.
Yes.
And maybe that's the gift, right? Maybe God didn't bless you with this superior intellect or superior frame or body, right? But what he did gift you with was this insatiable desire to improve,
which
you ask me day one, what do I want? Give me the insatiable
all
desire.
day long.
Let me grow.
That's it.
Yeah, because this person's peaked. They're capped. That is eventually. You know what I mean? That's what makes Nick Bear so hard to compete with.
He's always pushing.
And he's gifted, right? And I'm not saying he's the most gifted person. I'm not trying to take away from his attributes. I'm saying he has gifts and he's always pushing. That's what's so incredible to watch, right? He's just this mark that keeps moving.
That talent stack, he's got both.
You talk about the graft, dude. You're the Kobe Bryants or LeBron James, Michael Jordan, right? Same thing. Tom Brady. Tom Brady's actually more on the effort side probably than anything. Not athletically gifted at all. But it just shows you, right? All of it's possible.
Mm-hmm.
The one piece that remains constant, though, in success is effort. If you take Tom Brady and Michael Jordan's got all these gifts, right? Tons of effort. Gets to this point. He's the GOAT. Tom Brady, very limited in his physical gifts. Effort, GOAT, right? That's the constant. That's what matters. That's the variable that's impactful. It's not these things you're born with necessarily that give you an advantage. It's what you do with those things.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's important for people to hear. Screw like your cap physically or intellectually, like screw what you think that is. Just work through it. Surpass it. It's that simple.
Love you, bro.
Love you too.
Appreciate you, man.
Yeah, man.
We'll do this again very soon, January 1.
January 1, we have to do it. I'll set some crazy goals, and we'll just do it. I don't think that there's any other way. I mean, dude, life's unfolding so fast. It's incredible. There's so many things to be excited about right now. There's this pursuit of just like, my cup feels full, like fuller than it's ever been. And it's like this pursuit of like maintaining that or getting a bigger cup. And it sounds bad, but like, let me get a bigger cup so I can pour more into it. But it's like the bigger your cup, like if you're pouring out of a 64 ounce versus a 32 ounce, I have more to give.
Yes.
And it's like, how do I grow my cup so I can pour more into it to pour more into other cups? And it's like, God is good, man. Like Kobe said it on the, I can't remember what the night show was, but he was like, he was talking to Stephen A. Smith, actually. He's like, God is good. He's like, what did it take that experience for you to get there? And he's like, God is good. He just kept saying it. And he's like, that's it. That's all there is to it. He's like, that's all there is to it. God is good. God is great. That's where it's at right now.
It can be that simple because it's the truth.
Just let it be that and push.
Yeah.
So love you.
Love you, brother.
It was awesome.
Thank you, man.
Yeah, I'm glad we could do this.
Cool.
Cool.